friends, welcome again to your own YouTube channel Ask Your Gynecologist. I am Dr. Sonal Parihar and today we are going to discuss the second part of the previous video, that is cervical cancer. Now last time I told you the prevalence of this cancer. Why is it so important to discuss this cancer? Because it is actually killing many women all over the world, especially in our country. We Indians are contributing to 25% of the cervical cancer in the world. So we really need to know how to prevent it and what are the vaccines available for it. Right? So first of all, we'll start with the simple tests which can actually detect cervical cancer almost 15 to 20 years before it actually develops into full-fledged cancer. Because as I told you, this is the only cancer which has a long latent period, a long window period where all the pre-cancerous stages and the pre-invasive stages can be detected easily. Right? So the first and the simplest test that can be done to detect cervical cancer is Pap smear. Pap smear. Now what does that mean? Pap smear is a very simple test. You go to your gynecologist and she will make you lie down on the couch just like a gynec examination. And have you ever seen an ice cream stick? A simple wooden stick, a very thin wooden stick. Now this is what you can see in the diagram, in the photograph. This is the Ayer spatula which we use to take a Pap smear. Now if you take that particular stick, the ice cream stick, and you just move it on your skin, try and move it and rotate it, it is not going to cause any pain. So that is what I am saying. It is a very simple test. It does not cause any pain. We just have to put it on the mouth of the cervix when we examine you with the speculum in the OPD without anesthetizing, without giving you any injection. Just simple test. We rotate it 5 times like this, to and fro, and then we send these cells, because it can pick up some cells from the mouth of the cervix, from the womb, and then this is sent to the laboratory, and within 3 to 5 days the report is available, depending upon where the doctor is sending the report, what is the workload on that lab, but generally 3 to 5 days is enough to get a proper report of the Pap smear. Now discussing the report can be of 3 types. One can be just normal, second can be infection. They might say that it has a lot of infection, we need to treat the infection and then we'll retest, we'll repeat the Pap smear again. So you go back to your doctor, the doctor will give you antibiotics for say 14 days, 15 days or even a month, depending upon the kind of infection you have, and then you can get a repeat Pap smear done. The third report that can come can be the dangerous one which we had discussed last time. That is one of the pre-invasive stages which go from CIN 1, 2, 3 and then carcinoma in situ. So if we can detect this particular stage in say stage 1, 90% of it will dissolve. Probably 100% of it will resolve on its own without any treatment. But if it comes in the second and third stage, there are other treatments which can be done later on, and we can prevent this particular stage, the pre-invasive stage, to progress into cancer. Right? So CIN 2, CIN 3 and carcinoma in situ, everything can be treated locally so that we can just pick up those abnormal cells and destroy them. Right? What is the next step after Pap smear? If your Pap smear comes back abnormal, the doctor will send the pathologist or the doctor, whoever is examining you, will refer you to a colposcopist. Now what is a colposcopy? Colposcopy is a machine, as you can see in the photograph. It's a simple camera, it's just like binoculars. So you are allowed to again lie down on the couch, and without giving you any anesthesia, without even giving you any injection, it's just a simple test. We just magnify the image. The womb, the cervix is just this small. So what this colposcope does, it magnifies the image 20 to 30 times more. So this particular cervix looks this big on the screen. So each and every cell, each and every blood vessel abnormality can be picked up with the help of this colposcope, right? So we can easily see those abnormal cells, and sometimes when we do not agree with the Pap smear report, sometimes the reports might not might not be matching. The Pap smear says something else, the colposcopy says something else. In that case, or in case we see a lesion, we see something abnormal, we can just take a biopsy, and within 5 to 6 days, maximum 10 days, the report comes back. Right? So Pap smear and colposcopy, they are very simple tests. Every lady should actually get this done every 3 years, irrespective of whether she's married or not. Every lady who is sexually active. Right? Because Pap smear, as I told you, cervical cancer comes from HPV. HPV is the cause, and HPV comes from the partner. Right? So cervical cancer can be prevented by these simple tests, Pap smear and colposcopy, which are very cost effective. Hardly, maybe Pap smear just costs maybe 400 or 600 rupees. Colposcopy may be just costing 2000 to 5000 rupees. So with these minimal tests, you can easily save your life. right? Now coming to the local treatments that we can offer through colposcopy. With colposcopy, we do not just diagnose your disease, we can also treat it there and then. Now these are the two kinds of treatments that I was discussing. One is cryotherapy, right? What is cryotherapy? When we see that there is some abnormality which can be easily treated locally and is not that deep, then we use a gas called nitrous oxide. This comes in cylinders and these are available in all the hospitals. So it is called cryotherapy because it is the temperature of this particular gas is below 0 degrees. So it is like freezing ice temperature, and when we actually treat you, it looks like in the camera, it looks like as if we have kind of deposited some ice on the mouth of the cervix, but it's not actually ice, it is nitrous oxide which is compressed inside the cylinder. It just takes 10 minutes and it is not painful at all. Within 10 minutes you are free of your lesion, your disease, and you go back, and within a month or two you will be absolutely fine. The dead cells will come out because they have been like thawed with the help of this nitrous oxide. They have been insulted with very less, you can say frozen ice. They've been insulted with that, so they come out, and then the new cells will grow. Right? Now, in the initial days, we used to use cautery. We used to use hot, hot cauterization to destroy the local cells. But now this is not in fashion. Now we are using more of thawing, that is cold coagulation with the help of nitrous oxide. The other treatment that can be done colposcopically is LEEP biopsy, or LLETZ. Right? Now this is the name of the operation that we normally name it. That's a medical term, so we do not need to go into the details. What it does is, as you can see in the diagram, in the photograph, there is a small loop which is fixed on the handle. Now this particular loop is only this much, because the womb, the cervix that you have is just about this much, and the lesion or the disease that we are trying to cut may be just this much. So we just need to cut this much, but then we enlarge it so much on the screen so that we can easily cut the abnormal cells and we do not damage the rest of the cervix. So it's so easy. For 10 minutes the anesthetist will give you some injections so that you do not feel anything, just like a short GA. Within 10 minutes you will be out of your GA, your general anesthesia, and it takes just 10 minutes to use an electric machine, an electric current which passes through this loop, and it cuts the abnormal cells. Right? So within 4 hours or 5 hours you are discharged from the hospital. Since there are no stitches, there is no knife and blade involvement, so you are back to your work, you are absolutely normal. For 1.5 months we tell you to avoid sexual intercourse. For about 15 days to 20 days you might have lots of blackish discharge, because this area which is cut with the help of electric current will obviously shed out. It will be the blackish tissue and the abnormal tissues will come out. So within 1 or 2 months, just like cryotherapy, within 2 months you will be fine, fit and fine. You just need to come back every 15 days and get yourself checked. Right? So you will be fit and fine, the antibiotics will stop, and the disease progression will stop there and then. Right? So when do we do pap smear? Recommendation is that every lady who is sexually active should actually go to her doctor every 3 years to get a pap smear done, irrespective whether she has any symptoms or not. Right? Now, if you are getting an HPV testing done as well, what is HPV testing? It is almost the same as pap smear. We do it in the similar way. We pick up cells from the mouth of the uterus, that is the cervix, and we send it to the lab and we write that we need to check the type of HPV this lady is carrying. Now, if it comes back positive in the form of 16 and 18, which are the two dangerous viruses, then obviously we need further treatment like colposcopy and biopsies and all. But if it comes back saying negative, that it has no HPV or not the dangerous ones, then you can easily wait for 5 years. That 5 years of assurance you get with the HPV testing. So either you go to your doctor every 3 years to get a pap smear done, or you go there for every 5 years and get an HPV testing along with pap smear done. Right? After the age of 65, if you do not have any history of cancer, if you do not have any history of any symptoms which you were like getting treatment by the gynecologist for, then you can easily stop screening. Then you do not need any pap smear after the age of 65. Right? Now coming to the primary prevention. What do you mean by primary prevention? Well, this is the only cancer for which vaccines are available. Now you will be surprised to know that there are vaccines available for cancer as well, and they are 98% effective. So in 2007 in our Indian market, these vaccines they came up, and there are two types of vaccines available. One is a bivalent vaccine which is very famous in the name of Cervarix, and the other one is a quadrivalent which contains vaccines against 4 viruses, and that is very famous in the name of Gardasil. What is the difference between the two? The Cervarix is obviously, because it is only acting against 2 viruses, it is slightly cheaper. It only acts against 16 and 18. These are the 2 dangerous viruses which we just talked about, and these are responsible for maximum 90% of the cervical cancers, right? So even if you are using Cervarix and not Gardasil, it is okay. The dosing schedule is 0, 1 and 6. So 0 is the month in which you get injected, 1 is exactly 1 month later, and the last dose, the booster dose, is 6 months from now. Right? It has to be given IM in the deltoid, or it can be given in the buttocks as well. So it has to be IM, intramuscular injection. Very simple. Gardasil, it contains 2 more vaccines against 2 more viruses, 6 and 11. 6 and 11 are not responsible for cancers, but they are responsible for sexually transmitted diseases in the form of warts. Now this, in the picture you can see the warts. These things are not very common in our country. They are more common in the Western world, where the sexual activity starts early. Right? So you can actually choose which kind of vaccine you want, because it is easily available in the market. These are not OTP drugs. You cannot easily buy them from the these are not OTC drugs. You cannot buy them from the counter. You have to get a prescription from your doctor, and the medicine itself comes in the name of the doctor. The bill comes in the name of the doctor. This is how the Indian government is actually regulating these drugs, so that they do not become OTC drugs and do not otherwise people will start misusing them. Right? So this is what the vaccine is all about. And what is the vaccination schedule? Well, Government of India has actually included this particular vaccine in the schedule of the pediatricians. So as soon as a baby girl is born, the pediatrician will tell the parents that she should be injected with this vaccine at the age of 9 years, because this is what the recommendation is. Why 9 and 10 years? Because the girls of 9 and 10 years are young. They're naive, they're not exposed to sexual activity, right? And the mucosa, the vaginal mucosa, the cervical cells, the membranes are very thin. They can easily take up the vaccine, and because they are naive, they can easily, the vaccine can easily penetrate the tissues, and it can actually act better rather than a sexually active female. So that is why we start this thing from the school age itself, that is 9 and 10 years. And because of the increasing sexual activities, we need to catch girls at the right age, right? Now it has to be given till the age of 45. Now after 45 it is not recommended, because we kind of assume that till the age of 45 the DNA exposure, the virus exposure has already been there, and it might have already made some place in your cervix if it has to cause any cancer or any disease. So there is no point spending money on vaccines after the age of 45. This is what the recommendation is. Right? Now also talking about pregnant women, I would like to say that you should always get a pap smear done whenever you go to a gynecologist for your booking tests, right? Not many gynecologists are conducting pap smears for pregnant women, but I have seen many cancers, cervical cancers, which coexist with pregnancy. So do not think that you are safe during pregnancy. At least one pap smear is mandatory. If your doctor doesn't do it, please request her to do it. Okay. Then coming to pap smears in women who are HIV patients or having sexually transmitted diseases. As I said in the previous video, such women are immunocompromised. Their immunity is low, and they have lots of barrier breakage in the cervical mucosa, in the vaginal mucosa, lots of tears, lots of ulcers, which make them more prone to the cancer. So you should get yourself checked every 6 months initially, and if it comes back normal, then you should go like yearly pap smears, more frequent than the general population. Coming to women who already have a hysterectomy done, that is their uterus has been removed, depending upon what kind of surgery has been done. If the entire uterus with the cervix entirely has been removed and there had been no history of CIN or any problem as such, then she can always stop her screening. But in case the cervix has been left inside, then it has to be routinely tested just like a normal woman. 3 yearly pap smears. And moreover, if you had some problem initially, even though your entire uterus has been removed, you had CIN before, CIN 2 or 3, even then you need a pap smear at least every 6 months or yearly till your doctor says that you're absolutely fine. Right? Because if you have CIN 2 or 3 in the cervix, it is connected with the vagina. Sometimes those cells, they come and get implanted in the vagina, and that might develop into vaginal cancer later on. So just be careful and just beware of this cancer, because as I said, it can spread very fast and you don't come to know exactly what to do when it has already gone in the 3rd stage. So just be careful. Just call your doctor today and book your appointment for a pap smear if you have not done it so far. right? So be careful, stay healthy, be aware, and just keep following me on my Instagram handle sonal.parihar.33, or you can always inbox me on my YouTube channel, Ask Your Gynecologist. Any queries, please feel free to answer. I'll be back again with a new video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.